Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Alan117. If you guys don't know, I have been a big huge fan of Spider-Man since I watched Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies and even Spider-Man the Animated Series. Ah boy, but I'm doing a review for Spider-Man Homecoming, basically. Ah boy. So, I have been trying to do this review as good as possible, but because of copyright reasons, I can't even show any clips without, getting a copyright strike. So, I have been trying to upload it on my YouTube channel for 2 times, but unfortunately, I haven't published those videos, but I've been noticing copyright strikes like 2 times, so, yeah, I'm gonna try my best to actually talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. My least, well, not exactly my least favorite Spider-Man movie, but it is my least favorite movie next to The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And what can I say? I'm gonna trigger a lot of people, especially MCU fanboys, because right into your keyboards telling me I'm a misogynist, I don't understand Spider-Man, this is the definitive Spider-Man, whatever. Like, I'm not the first person who says that the way Spider-Man was portrayed in this movie is not okay. And Nostalgia Critic, one of the most popular YouTubers of all times, actually did a review for Spider-Man Homecoming in a video called Disney December. And when he shared his own opinions about the movie, the things he didn't like about the movie, people went completely bonkers, sending him death threats, saying kill yourself, you don't understand, this is the definitive Spider-Man, blah blah blah, Iron Man is cool, and yeah, I kinda share his opinion. Oh boy, this is gonna suck. I hate myself sometimes. But with the whole Spider-Man Homecoming thing, it's hard to talk about this movie without triggering the fan base of Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm gonna do this without clips, without music, and tell my own opinions, what I liked about the movie and the things I didn't like about the movie. And I'm gonna start off with the good stuff with the movie, but then later on I'm gonna say my own criticism about the movie. So let's begin. Things I liked about the movie. Tom Holland is the perfect choice for playing the teenage superhero of Spider-Man. He does a perfect Peter Parker and also Spider-Man, like it was shown in the Civil War movie. And I like how he was portrayed in Civil War. But Homecoming, like I said, I'm gonna get to that later on. Another thing I liked about the movie was definitely Vulture, the actor who played the Vulture. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with remembering names, especially actor names. So I apologize if this review is kind of half-assed at times. The things the Vulture felt like an actual menacing villain, and that you don't see a lot in the MCU a lot, and this is the first time we actually see a threatening villain. Like, Vulture's design also is really cool, but there are some things I don't like about Vulture, but I will get to that in the worst way possible, in the bad stuff I don't like about the movie. And another thing I liked about the movie is definitely action scenes, and some comedic moments were cool, and that is the good things I can say about Spider-Man Homecoming. And I'm gonna get skewered for this, get shit ton of death threats, torches and pitchforks I know are gonna get ready. Some people might even hire an assassin for me and shoot me in the head. And I'm gonna say things I did not like about this movie. First things first, the whole Vulture's motive with being a villain. One of the reasons I don't like about this movie is that as usual, when they make a solo superhero Marvel movie, for some odd reason, they always find a way to hammer in either Infinity Stone plot points or Avengers. Like, we can't have a solo superhero without establishing Avengers, because I understand you want Spider-Man to be in an MCU, but hammering Avengers is not a good plot thread. The reason why I liked about Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery is the fact that the villains in Spider-Man always have a way to meddle in Peter Parker's social life and always try to kill Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is trying to do the right thing, protecting civilians, even people like Norman Osborn and Dr. Kurt Connors and many other people, because, you know, great power comes great responsibility. And that's what makes Spider-Man such an interesting character, because the villains usually are always the one thing that always, you know, interfere with Peter Parker's social life. But in the Homecoming, it feels like Iron Man did something bad, and then, yep, fuck Iron Man, I'm gonna kill Iron Man. Like, it's not like the Vulture wants to kill Iron Man, it's like he wants to destroy his reputation, I believe. But the whole Iron Man thing, I feel like is a really lame plot thread, because it doesn't really affect the story of Spider-Man, and it kind of affects the story of Spider-Man, but not in a way. I feel like Spider-Man's story is affected, like in the comics, or even in the Sam Raimi movies, or even in some of the animated series, like Spectacular Spider-Man, Spider-Man the Animated Series, and I can go on. And man, there are so many things I didn't like about this movie, and this is gonna be a long video, I can tell. Another thing I really don't like about Spider-Man, and the fact is, Peter Parker is like established like a little bit of more of a downer than even the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and that is saying a lot. Like, one of the reasons I really hated Spider-Man's portrayal in Homecoming is the fact that he desperately, for some reason, wants to be an Avenger. He wants to be like Iron Man. Like, what the fuck? This is not Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man, what I liked about Spider-Man is the fact that he's a solo superhero. He's relatable. As Peter Parker, he has problems outside being a superhero. He's having a hard time paying rents, or managing his job in some ways, or managing his schoolwork, or being on time at school. Peter Parker still cares about his social life, but because of him being Spider-Man and doing the right thing, it always interferes with his social life. But in Homecoming, it's like, nah, school sucks, like, school's boring, I want to be Spider-Man 24/7. And that's not what makes Spider-Man an interesting character. It doesn't make him relatable. Now, and a lot of people I know in the comments are going to say, but he's a teenager. Do you know how many teenagers are not okay with school and stuff? Like, I get it, but Peter Parker is a genius, and school issues like getting good grades in biology or many other, you know, studies, like, he doesn't have a problem, because he's very smart in his own way. Not Tony Stark smart, but he's smart in his own way. He built his own web shooters, he made his own costume, and it can go on, but still, it's what makes Spider-Man such an interesting character, that even though in the toughest times, he always manages to, you know, go up in the world and be better than ever, and that's what makes Spider-Man an interesting character. But the fact that he desperately wants to be an Avenger, and being like this Tony Stark wannabe, like, when I look at Spider-Man and Spider-Man Homecoming, I don't see Spider-Man, but I see Iron Man Jr. And another problem with Spider-Man's character is the suit. It's basically Iron Man kind of Stark suit, like it is called in Spider-Man PS4 game. And I really don't like this. Like, some people might even in the comments are gonna say, but Spider-Man is 15 years old, he doesn't know how to make his own suit. Like, what kind of fucking bullshit is that? Like, Spider-Man can make his own suit, he knows how to handle himself in the world, but the fact that you're saying he can't make his own suit, in the comics, even in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, he was capable of making his own suit, and people might even argue, but he was an adult in those comics and movies, but in Ultimate Spider-Man comics, he also was 15 years old and he was able to build his own suit, so what were you saying about him not being able to build his own suit? And the Stark suit is really, like, it's just like, when Spider-Man or Peter hacked into the suit, he's basically unlike, like, the ultimate cheat code from GTA San Andreas. Like, he has, like, 65 different web combinations. He has, like, this ultra kill mode. He can do shit more than he does with the regular suit. Like, are you fucking serious? The fact that in Spider-Man PS4 it even is shown that Spider-Man is capable of building his own web shooters or his own gadgets, it's really fucking ridiculous that everything is relied on Tony Stark's technology at this point. Like, Black Panther, wannabe Tony Stark technology helmet thing, like fuck's sake. And the whole Iron Man, Tony Stark being the father figure of Spider-Man, I don't like it. And I understand they hate for saying that that people like me doesn't like having Tony Stark as Peter Parker's father figure, because you don't want to see Spider-Man's origin again, you don't want to see Uncle Ben's death again. I understand the situation, but without Uncle Ben, without without the origin story of Spider-Man, you don't have Spider-Man. You have, like, this random kid being Spider-Man for no reason. You're kind of like writing a Miles Morales story for some reason, and ask yourself this: do you honestly believe you want Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. to be your father figure, the most self-centered, asshole characters of all times, who's also suffering from alcohol problems and always relies too much on his technology? Do you honestly believe this is, like, the best father figure? And for fuck's sake, and Tony Stark, like, it's like, in Homecoming, when I look at Tony Stark, it's like he's like this big giant replacement of Uncle Ben. Some people might even come and say it's an improvement, we don't want Uncle Ben anymore because Robert Downey Jr. is hot and something like that. Like, and even in Tom Holland's case, people like Spider-Man Homecoming because Tom Holland is like this hot guy, big nice looking actor and whatever, but let me tell you about Tobey Maguire. The reason Tobey Maguire worked as Peter Parker in Spider-Man, because he's a loser, he's a geek. That's what makes him an interesting character, because he's dealing with a lot of real life problems, like bullying, managing his schoolwork, and managing his job as a photographer at the Daily Bugle, and supporting his Aunt May because she's very old and she can't manage a job in her age that well, and paying bills, and you know where I'm going with this. With Homecoming, it's like Tony Stark is a replacement for Uncle Ben. Like, it is really wrong. Like, it's like replacing Bruce Wayne's parents with Jim Gordon for whatever reason, and it doesn't work. Like, Uncle Ben is essential to the plot to Spider-Man's character, to his character development, because when his uncle died by the robber that he let go after the wrestling match, and Spider-Man did a responsible thing by abusing his powers to just cash in on his talents, but because of him doing a responsible thing by letting the robber go because the manager of the wrestling match didn't give him the cash he wanted. Spider-Man was prone to anger, let the robber go, and it's like, you know what, if you're not gonna help me, I'm not gonna help you. And when Peter found out that his uncle died and he found out that the robber stole Uncle Ben's car, he went on for a revenge spree and tried to catch the robber. But when he catch the robber and found out that the robber was the same guy who robbed the wrestling, the manager of the wrestling match, Peter realizes that he's at fault. He's the one who let Uncle Ben die. He's the one who let the robber go. And after the incident that he put the robber in jail, Peter realizes it's his own fault that his uncle died. He's the one person who he always saw as a father figure for him. And the words that Uncle Ben said about great power comes with great responsibility, Peter always tried to tell himself about those words Uncle Ben said to him, so he doesn't make the same mistake as he did with Uncle Ben. That's what makes Uncle Ben's story so endearing. That's why it's so important, because removing Uncle Ben from the equation, you don't make a Spider-Man story at all. You're basically making an Iron Man Jr. story in Homecoming. I'm sorry, dehydration. I'm having the... I apologize if I drink some soda for a few occasions, because I have talked a lot, and using these headphones for doing this kind of commentary can be irritating. But anyways, let's get on with the review. Another thing that I like about Homecoming is the fact that it's fully comedic. There are barely any consequences, and the comedy is fine, but I feel like their comedy is a bit overdone in Spider-Man Homecoming. Like, there are some jokes I found funny, but a lot of jokes I'm like, just why? This is so cringy, I can't even stand it. And this is really stupid, because Spider-Man, I understand Spider-Man is a comedic character. He always makes fun of the bad guys, but it's like they just took inspiration from Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon series and like, yeah, let's add that shit into a live action movie. And I'm like, no, you don't do that. Ultimate Spider-Man is a complete disaster because they don't understand what Spider-Man's character is about. And it's like, Spider-Man is not Deadpool. I repeat, Spider-Man is not equivalent to Deadpool. He might look kind of like Deadpool in some ways, but he's not Deadpool. Like, Deadpool is a fully comedic character and works better as an R-rated film, but still, Deadpool is Deadpool. Spider-Man is Spider-Man. They are completely different characters. You don't just because they make jokes a lot of the times doesn't essentially make the same characters. The reason why Spider-Man always makes fun of his enemies, jokes around when he's Spider-Man, is because he tries to hide his fear fighting criminals and supervillains. And when he's Peter Parker, he doesn't joke around. He's always this geeky guy, and he's trying to act normal as possible. The reason why he jokes around as Spider-Man, because he wants to conceal his identity, so people don't easily figure out who Peter Parker and Spider-Man is, because they have the exact same voice. But when Peter put on the suit of Spider-Man, he always changes his personality. Peter Parker is like more serious, tries to be normal. But Spider-Man is being more quirky, agile, and being more, making fun of his enemies, like to conceal his identity as Spider-Man. And that's what makes Spider-Man an interesting character. But when things get really serious, especially when he's fighting enemies like Carnage, Venom, or even Dr. Octopus, or even Green Goblin at some points, he just cuts the bullshit and continues on as tries to be more serious and take down the bad guys, because sometimes in certain situations you need to cut the jokes and try to do better to fight off evil. Man. Christ. Sorry, I haven't done reviews like this. No, I haven't done any movie reviews. I did some reviews for some action cartoons like Batman Beyond, but Christ almighty, that shit is insane. And what else? Aunt May's portrayal. In Spider-Man Homecoming, she's basically Aunt May's hut. That's it. And I'm not gonna dwell on this anymore because boy, it's kinda tiring when I don't have a legit microphone, but still, there's still a lot of things I feel like Spider-Man Homecoming does wrong compared to other live-action movies. Now, I understand Spider-Man 3 is hated but don't blame Sam Raimi for Spider-Man 3's failure. And blame the executives of Sony that they always meddle into Sam Raimi's production, because he never wanted to add Venom in the movie because he didn't fully understand the character. But because of Sony's meddling, he was forced to put in Venom, and this whole script of Spider-Man 3 was just destroyed. And I think the less we talk about the Amazing Spider-Man movies, the better. But I kind of enjoyed the first movie, the Amazing Spider-Man movie, but the second one was a complete fucking mess. But I still put the Amazing Spider-Man 2 lower in my Spider-Man movie. I might do a list for maybe my favorite live-action Spider-Man movies. I don't know, because Spider-Man Far From Home is also coming out soon, because, Marvel, we need that sweet money. But as for Spider-Man Homecoming, I put it above The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I don't, or even above Spider-Man 3 in some way, but I don't know, because I haven't done lists like this for a while, but still, I don't think about it. But still, Spider-Man Homecoming is my least favorite Spider-Man movie, because I feel like Spider-Man Homecoming really misses the point of what makes Spider-Man an interesting character, and why he works better as a solo superhero than being hammered in the Avengers. I understand you want Spider-Man to be in the Avengers, but this was not the right decision to make him like this Tony Stark wannabe, or just disregarding Uncle Ben as a character entirely. Like fuck's sake, guys, and having him this Tony Stark suit as well. Like, this is not Spider-Man. This more felt for me like watching like an Iron Man Jr. rather than a Spider-Man movie. But that is my opinion, and you might disagree with me as you like. But what do you guys think about my opinion about Spider-Man Homecoming? Not the best review forever, but I wanted to do this review for a long while, and also for the memory of Stan Lee. I really missed the guy, because if it wasn't for Stan Lee and for him creating Spider-Man, I will never be with the person that I am, because Spider-Man is really a essential character for me. I always grew up with Spider-Man. He's always been my favorite superhero since my childhood, and even though Spider-Man was also the reason of me being bullied, because people always made fun of me because of me really liking Spider-Man, and I don't know, it's kind of been hard, but you might think you might even see me as a real life version of Peter Parker that has been always going through a lot of bullshit. But even though I don't have super spider powers, or super agility or spider sense, always, like Spider-Man, always push on, always went forward and try my best to hang on to find my place in the world, to actually find my future, what I want to be in the future. Because because I ask myself, did Spider-Man ever give up? No, he never gave up on himself, and I shouldn't either. And that's what makes Spider-Man my favorite character, because I can really relate to him on a personal level. And that's that was Stan Lee's intention of Spider-Man's character in the first place. But with Spider-Man Homecoming, I feel like they really missed the point of what makes Spider-Man such an iconic figure for a lot of people, including myself. So I don't know. I might be rambling, but what do you guys feel? What do you guys think of my review for Spider-Man comic? What are your thoughts? How I feel about Spider-Man's character? Do you agree with me? Or you don't agree with me? I don't know, but let me know in the comments what you think of my thoughts for Spider-Man Homecoming. I might have been, left some things out from the review, but I don't want to drag on with this review as long as I can, because I know this video is gonna get a ton of dislikes by a lot of MCU fanboys and whatnot. So, and yeah, and I don't know. But still, for those who enjoy this review, this short review for Spider-Man Homecoming, what do you guys think of this review? I don't want to add any clips or music, because I don't want to deal with another copyright strike bullshit. So yeah. Tell me, guys, what you think. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys later or whatever. This is Someone with 7 signing off.